Welcome, everybody. Welcome, our Minister Ginger London. Welcome to Loving Yourself 5-Day Challenge. I'm excited. We are into day number 5. So this is the 5th day. This is our last day together for this challenge. And I just wanted to encourage you to go back and watch the replays while they're available for the next 24 to 48 hours. Go back and watch the replays. Take the notes that you need to take and really get to the place as we close out this month, the month that's seen as Love Month, where we shower people with gifts and love and attention, but sometimes we leave ourselves out. So I want to encourage you to make it a part of your daily routine, or at least a couple of days a week in your weekly activities, or maybe even your monthly activities. Set aside some time each week to really take care of yourself and to learn more about yourself and to really get to a place where you genuinely love yourself and that you believe that it is okay for you to be loved and for you to love yourself. In order to share love with others, you first have to love yourself. And if you don't, as I said in one of the previous teachings, you will go through the motions, but you will not be loving genuinely like we have been designed and created to. So if you've been following along with me for the challenge over the last 5 days, we talked about on day 2 a brain dump. A brain dump is simply where you take a journal or a notebook and write down all of the things that's going on in your mind, your thought, your feelings, that are negative about yourself, that you've been playing over and over in your mind, you've been believing, repeating, just holding on to. It's time to do a brain dump. You want to get that out of your spirit so that you can make room for the godly thoughts and the righteous thoughts about yourself. So there is somewhere for them to reside. We also talked about on day 3, challenge your limiting beliefs. Where do those limited beliefs come from? Usually it's in your childhood, maybe something a parent or an adult relative, maybe even some bullying type things that were done in early on in your life, in elementary or junior high school, if you called it that, or middle school, where just your peers were saying derogatory things toward you, and you began to internalize that and begin to believe what you were hearing. And so I want to encourage you to challenge your limited beliefs, write them down, then take a sheet in that same paper, answer the question, where did it come from? When did you start believing that particular belief, or when was that belief spoken to you? And then, is it realistic? Is it really true about you? Especially if it was something that was done early on in your childhood and you're now an adult, maybe 30, 35, 40, and you're still holding on to that, even in your 20s. Is it realistic? Do you want to change all of this? Because you cannot function from this type of mindset and really love yourself. You're going to beat yourself up at some point. You're going to degrade yourself. You're going to uh, humiliate yourself. You're going to say things about yourself that are not true. And people around you are going to be wondering, why is she always putting herself down? So it's time to get rid of all of that. Challenge those limited beliefs, get them out of your spirit. And then on day number 4, we talked about list your best personality trait. What are those things about yourself that you already love? You may not talk about yourself a lot, but you know what those qualities are that you love about yourself, even if you don't share them with anyone, if you don't openly promote them, if you don't openly let people know. Maybe some of the examples that were shared during that session: honesty, integrity, outgoing or open-mindedness, easy to talk to. What is it that about yourself that you love about yourself? What are those personality traits that you love right now about yourself? And how is it that you can begin to really internalize those personality traits and really begin to love yourself more and begin to appreciate those personality traits, along with what is your life's purpose? What are your gifts, your talents, your abilities? What has God brought you to the earth to do? What is your assignment in the earth? And if you can recognize those personality traits that you love now, if you're trying to figure out what your life purpose is, you're going to be really close. You still have to seek God and still have to get into the Word of God. But take a look at those personality traits that you admire ab- about yourself and see if they are in alignment with what you believe or what you will discover that God has placed your life in the earth to do. So on today, as we go through the fifth day, which is the last day, we're actually going to talk about today. We're going to talk about acts of self care and what do you need to do in order to be able to take care of yourself. So we're going to be talking about that. And self care has never been more important. If you're trying to learn how to love yourself more, self care is a part of that. You can't love yourself and then let yourself go. You can't say you love yourself, but yet you're eating you are eating yourself into overweight or high blood pressure, diabetes, all those things. You can't say that you love yourself, but yet you're speaking negatively about yourself every chance you get. You are not taking care of yourself if your thought life isn't healthy, if your emotions aren't managed well and your emotions aren't healthy. You are not practicing self-care if one or all of these areas of your life or are not properly cared for. We say that sometimes, but when you step back for a moment, or when you go through challenges like these, you will begin to discover that you are letting something go that is of great value to you. And when you let that value go, there is no way you can appreciate yourself the way that you're supposed to appreciate yourself or love yourself. You let your mind wander where you can't control your thoughts, where you're having irrational thoughts, distorted thoughts, irrational beliefs. When you let your mind go, that's a valuable piece of who you are. We're created in the image, in the imagination, the mind of God before we ever came to earth. So when you let your mind go, you're letting a really valuable part of who you are go. When you let your heart, your emotions, or you let them run rampant, you're easily wounded. You don't love, you don't receive love. You're bitter, you're angry, you go off into fits of rages, and or you're timid and withdrawn, and before you know, you are have gone through this for so long, and you've settled, and you live like a hermit. You don't come outside, you don't go anywhere, you don't fellowship, you don't do anything. You curl up in a position in the bed, and you don't come out for weeks at a time or days at a time. That's a valuable part of who you are. The heart is the core of your being. So when you don't manage your emotions well, when you let them run rapid, you're not practicing self-care. Where again, with the physical being, when you let yourself go, when you just eat, 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 and eat, you don't exercise, you don't watch what you eat, you intake whatever you want to take because it's just another way of self-medicating. So you're overeating. You don't exercise your body, so your body is not in shape and is definitely not getting the mobility action that it needs to stay physically healthy. When you do that, then again, you're letting a really good major part of your being go uncared for. We are the temple of the Holy Spirit if you're a Christian believer. So when I let my temple fall apart, I'm not I'm not presenting a place for the Holy Spirit to reside that gives him glory, right? When I let my body go, when I let my physical being go, if I'm the temple of the Holy Spirit, then I need to make sure that I'm watching what I put inside my body. I'm watching how I care for my body and what am I doing that says that I'm not taking care of myself. So taking care of your physical and your emotional needs is vital to loving yourself and to having a happy and productive life. You have to practice self-care if you want to experience loving yourself and experience being happy and having a productive life. Many people struggle with this because they feel guilty about focusing on their needs, and some don't believe that they deserve it. When you have um, lived in a state of mind or a state of being where you don't value who you are, you will find it difficult to really practice self-care. You would find it difficult to love yourself because you don't want to focus on yourself because you don't feel good about yourself. And as a result of not feeling good about yourself, you don't feel that you deserve all of the goodness that really you deserve. Right? So all the good that comes your way, you might get a drop here and there, but you'll reject the majority of the good that comes your way. You'll reject compliments. You'll reject opportunities to advance in life. You'll reject truth. Remember, I said when your limiting beliefs are not challenged, what it causes you to do is it causes you to reject truth. And when you reject truth, especially truth that is valuable to your life, then you are keeping yourself in a place where you are unloved by you, and where you are not taking care of who you are. Right? So if you struggle with loving yourself, I want you to try some of these self-care techniques I'm going to share with you today, and bring them into a part of your life's routine, whether you do them daily or whether you do them weekly, but make them a part of your life's routine. The more you do it, the more they become second nature to you, so to speak. Whatever we practice, that's what the discipline that we develop. So if you put these techniques into practice, these self-care techniques, it will become a discipline in your life, and you will make time to take care of yourself. So number one, savor your silent moments. Right? Sometimes you're filled with a lot of noise going on around in your life, and sometimes there's a lot of notifications popping on the phone, a lot of television action. There's a lot of things you're doing on the computer, and everything else in and around you or close to you, vying for your attention. You have friends calling you on the phone. You have family members that want you to do something. I want you to take a break from all of the worldly distractions and find a spot where you can sit down for a few minutes in silence. Right. And this will help you to re energize, help you to breathe again, and help you to focus on you and loving yourself and caring for yourself. So, I want you to savor that silent moment that takes place or can take place in your life. Make sleep a priority for you. If you don't get your rest, you're not going to be in the best physical shape, or you won't have the best energy. So when um, to your body is like sleep to your body is like mind to your it's like rest to your mind. Right? Sometimes that we can overthink ourselves, and our mind has to rest, our body has to rest. So that's what sleep is. When you're sleeping, your body and your mind, they're both are resting. And I know sometimes when there's a lot going on in your mind, it's hard to sleep at night. So that's why you got to begin to practice some self-care techniques, because you can lay down at night thinking, okay, my day is finished. I'm going to bed. But when you go to bed, all of those worrying thoughts, all of those negative thoughts, all of that come right into the bed with you. Because your mind hasn't settled, then you have a tendency to not be able to sleep well at night. You toss, you turn, you lie in bed, you still are wide awake in bed, and before you know it, it's 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock in the morning, and you still haven't gotten any sleep. So when you go back to the first one, where you savor the silent moments in your life, that's the time to kind of really breathe and really teach your body to come to a place of calmness, so that when the evening comes and you have to take your rest, you have really calmed yourself down from all of those thoughts that have a tendency to repeat themselves in your mind, even when you're sleeping, to cause you to um, to be uncomfortable during your sleep time. So you want to make sure that you have a regular sleep time. So if you want regularly go to bed at 8 or 9 o'clock, then make sure you do that. Right. Make sure that it's quiet. Right. That the room is dark. Um, as much as possible, and that it's a comfortable place to sleep for you, so that you can really do that. Sometimes some people use like soothing music, soft music when they get ready to go to sleep. And it don't take but a second for me to fall asleep. So if I put soothing music on, the music will last longer than it takes me to fall asleep. I'll sleep like in 10 seconds, 10 minutes, right? So some people use soothing music to do that. And you can do that sometimes if you have like some type of device like Alexa or something, where you can tell it to play soothing music or sleep music. It'll do just that for you. And maybe you get it, and that's how you can begin to develop the discipline of rest, where you can or making sure that you are actually getting the sleep. I said Alexa, so it came on right. So you want to make sure that you're getting the sleep that you really make it a priority in your life. A quiet place, your bedroom, make sure it's quiet. You don't have the TV blasting or the radio blasting, trying to go to sleep. You want it to be a quiet place so that you can actually get some rest. So don't forget that make sleep a priority in your life. And then the next one, engage in your favorite hobbies, right? Engage in your favorite hobbies. Make sure that you take some time to fit into your schedule, whatever your favorite hobbies are, whether it's fishing, whether it's knitting, whether it's crossword puzzles, whether it's, you know, uh, playing games, whatever your hobby is, make sure that you create some time to actually do that so that you can just relax and begin to say, you know what, I'm important to me. And this is what I like to do. So since I like to do this, I'm going to make time for my favorite hobby. I'm going to make sure that I create some time in my busy day, in my busy schedule to really wind down, to really begin to have some enjoyment in my life. Maybe you haven't done it for a long time. Maybe you can say, hey, every second and fourth Saturday, I'm going to go fishing. Or every, Saturday morning between 8 a.m. and 10:30, I'm gonna make sure I'm knitting something, or hey, maybe I'm playing my favorite video games, or maybe I'm reading, if that's what I like to do. I'm gonna read the novel that I bought. So I'm gonna make some time to actually read that novel. So whatever it is that you like to do, um, as a hobby or in your spare time, make sure you engage in that. And then have lunch with a friend or a group of friends, right? We all need to take a break from our day-to-day routine. And what better way to do that than to spend some time with a loved one or some group of loved ones. Find your friends and say, hey, you guys, let's meet every third Saturday at XYZ restaurant or in the park somewhere. Let's do a potluck lunch, picnic where everybody brings something, and let's just sit and eat together and talk about what's going on and what's the latest movie you've seen, what's the latest series on Netflix have you watched. Let's do something together so that we can have a time of enjoyment. Sometimes we have a tendency to be alone, or spend a lot of times with ourselves, but not in a healthy way. But it's because we don't want to be bothered with anybody else because of how we feel about ourselves. So you want to make sure that you spend time with people who care about you. It's one of the best ways of self-care that you can actually experience. You want to make sure that you're doing that so that you have a time where you're actually having quality time with yourself. And so I want you with yourself. And so I want you to make sure that you're actually doing that. So spend time with some old friends. It's a great way to boost your mood. It's a way to recharge your energy. If you need, you need to take a break from your day-to-day routine, then let your friends know, hey, I'm going to call you every once in a while just to break away, just to get away, just to get out, just to get a breath of fresh air, and just spend some time away from every other thing that I'm doing, and just do something fun with the people that I love or the people that actually care about me. All right. And so then the next one is splurge on a cleaner, right? Yes. If you're used to just cleaning your home, your apartment, whatever facility type place that you're living, think about hiring a cleaner occasionally. And if you don't want to hire like a professional cleaning service, maybe you have teenagers in your life, maybe some nieces and nephews that want to make a little extra money, you know, uh, then invite them. Say, hey, auntie has something she wants you to do. If you want to make want to make some extra cash, and then tell them, hey, this is what I want you to do. When it come clean my kitchen for me, want you to clean my bathroom for me, or you to do the yard for me, sweep my carport down, take care of feed the cats, feed the dog, whatever it is. Get some, get them involved and then pay them, right? So that you can take a break from doing it. So while they're doing it, you can be in the den watching TV because you've hired them, right? So this will give you some extra time to focus on something more important, which is yourself, because we're talking about loving yourself. So this will give you time. Maybe you can do while they're doing that for you, you could be working on a workbook, or something that's going to help you to discover who you are and to love yourself more genuinely. And the next one, keep a journal. You know, Hashing out your thoughts and feelings in writing can be uh, Very, very important for your life. Remember, I said, hey, uh, when you're journaling, you are getting those thoughts out, and it's bringing you into you're releasing them on paper. It's putting you into a place of awareness, and then it's also moving you to a place of moving forward. So when you bring them out of your mind onto paper, you're releasing them. You coming into awareness and say, hey, I know this was going on in my mind, but now I see it on paper. So now I'm fully aware of what's been blocking me and getting in the way of me being more caring about myself and more loving towards myself. And as a result of that, now I need to come up with some strategies to move to really embrace loving myself more. What action steps can I take where I can genuinely care for myself more than I've been caring for myself? And so you want to make sure that you're journaling. Don't worry about punctuation. Don't worry about grammar. Just jot your thoughts down because it's your journal, right? It doesn't have to be perfect. The key is for you to release your thoughts on paper. All right. And then honor your mind and body. Take better care of yourself. We talked about that. Can, really feel like work, especially when you're exercising. I'm telling you, when I'm exercising, I feel like it's work when I get to a chance to do it, which means I'm not making the right time for my to exercise. If I'm telling you when I get a chance to do it, right? So that's a goal for me this year. I got an exercise bike that I bought that's been sitting right over there. So it's really it feels like work because as soon as I open up the exercise bike, I'm like, oh, you know. And now they make them so much better now. I have a new one, advanced one. So when you're on there, like I'm on there watching the video on how to get started using your bike and all that kind of stuff. And so you're on there, I'm doing everything it says to do. And I got my arm, I'm using the little bands that's built into the bike, all sorts of things, right? Soon as that video is over, I did a 30-minute workout, right? Close that bike up, put it right back over there. So my goal for this year is to take better care of myself physically by using that bike. I invested money in that bike. I need to use that bike. Okay. But it's really important that you honor your mind and your body. And when you take better care of yourself, when you do that, it really does help you mentally, and it helps you. We know it helps you physically, but it truly does help you mentally when you're taking care of your mind and your body. All right, and then pamper yourself. Right? Who doesn't love a spa day, whether it's men or women? When men start going to the spa, they be like, "Oh, is this what is really going on?" Right? So even for a man, a good massage might, release that tension. So you want to make sure that you take some time to spoil yourself occasionally, right? And if you financially cannot go to the spa for whatever reason, then what you need to do is learn how to bring the spa to you. Do your own spa. Figure out how to actually, maybe you can take a warm bath. May not have a jacuzzi or a sauna, but you can run some warm water in the bathtub with bubbles and got your overnight mask on, like you see the lady in the picture. You're in the tub, you're thinking for a few minutes, set a timer, say, hey, I don't want to be in here past 20 or 30 minutes in this tub. I definitely don't want to fall asleep in here. So set a timer, but just relax, burn your candles, you know, in the bath area, and just relax, pamper yourself. When you get out, maybe you have some really good body lotion, smelling body lotion, maybe from Bath and Body Works, or from one of your favorite fragrance scents. For me, it could be Good Girl. It could be one of my favorite scents is by Christian Dior, J'adore. That body cream is beautiful, right? So maybe you have some of those things. If not, make an investment, right? Invest in that, right? So it might cost you $150 to go to the spa one time, but you could pay $100 or 85 to 100 for a good smelling jar of body cream that'll last you for a couple of months, right? To use it just for your spa days or for days that you want to really just lift your spirits, right? You take your shower, you get out, you put the body cream on, you spray your body with the fine fragrance. It does something for you. It really does, right? It doesn't take the place of you changing your mindset, but it does help you in the process. It does help you when you're learning to love yourself uh, in a better way. All right. And then forgive yourself. That's very important. Forgive yourself. We've all made mistakes. We've all made bad decisions. We've all may have failed in some way. But it's time to forgive yourself. We forgive others, but so like I said, we're hard on ourselves. And so just like you forgive others, forgive yourself. If you're a believer, Christian believer, you seek the forgiveness of God, but then you have to forgive yourself. We're not going to always get it right 100%. Right. And then on those times when you do get it right, then pat yourself on the back. Give God the glory, but pat yourself on the back because you're doing the right thing. You're thinking the right way. Things are changing for you. You see the transformation happening because you're uh, developing a particular discipline in your life and you see it manifesting in your life. Then give yourself a high five and say, you know what? I'm going to keep going because I want to love myself better. I want to genuinely love who I am. I want to know who I was created to be, what God has for my life, what my purpose is. I want to identify my personality traits. I want to walk in that self love. I want to experience that daily. Even when I mess up, I don't beat myself up, but I sit back for a moment and then after repenting and asking for forgiveness, I literally take a look at what I did and say, what is it that I can learn from this? Even if what you learn is never do it again, right? Don't do that again, right? It doesn't have to be some 5-page lesson in it just because you made a bad decision about something or you said the wrong thing. It simply could be, don't do it again, right? That's the lesson. Don't do it again. So make sure you forgive yourself when you've made mistakes, when you've made some bad decisions, or maybe you failed in some other ways. Whatever it is, make sure you forgive yourself. If you forgive yourself in a timely manner, then there won't be so much debris on the inside where you're feeling um, guilty about what you've done, and now you're beating yourself up. And so now this vicious, harmful cycle is beginning its journey on the inside of you. You want to release that before it can fester into something that becomes unmanageable for your life. So then let me give you some action steps to do this. All right. Sit down with a warm beverage, maybe coffee or tea. Get your calendar out. Look for areas to add some free time in the course of a day or a week. If you say a month, that's too long to wait. So find some free time in the course of a day or free time in the course of a week where you can actually begin to engage in self care so that you can position yourself to love yourself better. Sit in silence for about 10 minutes, which is really good. If you've ever done that, it is so breathtaking. It is so relieving. It is unbelievable. If you ever try that one day, just sit down for 10 minutes in pure quietness and just meditate. Just sit there for 10 minutes in just silence. Don't rush yourself up. Just sit there. You can time it to make sure you're there for 10, yep, you've actually been there for 10 minutes. I would say set a timer instead of looking at your watch and just sit there. Breathe in deeply through your nose and out through your mouth. Just take some deep breaths in, just like if you're in the doctor's office and they tell you breathe out, right? There's a reason for that. So breathe in deeply and then breathe out. Breathe in through your nose and then breathe out through your mouth. Focus on being in that moment. And what is that moment? That moment is that moment of silence right there, where it's just quiet for you, not your never ending to-do list or trying to remember who you need to call back. Just be in the moment of silence at that particular time for 10 minutes and just practice that breathing technique so that you can calm your spirit, so you can maybe meditate on something other than just being busy all the time. And then action step number 3, clean out clean out a shelf in your refrigerator or on your bookcase or in your medicine cabinets. Take this tiny step to reclaim a cluttered home that overwhelms you. Right? Sometimes we just got so much going on and we just drop stuff everywhere. Right? I'm gonna put that right there. I'm gonna get that later. And when later comes, it's like, look at all of that over there. So take some time to clean a shelf out in your refrigerator. If you do that and you step back and say, wow, look at my refrigerator. If you've ever done it, it can have a whole different mindset. When you open it up in the refrigerator, it's clean, the shelves are clean, it's not cluttered, it's not packed with leftovers, but it's just clean. It does something for you, right? Look in your medicine cabinet, toss out that medicine that's expired 2-3 years ago and it's still sitting in your medicine cabinet. Then you need to do something about that. So Even if it's a book case, there might be some books on that case that you don't even want anymore, and you maybe can donate them to somebody or pass them on to a church library, uh, or if the library in your city is asking for donation for books, or even if there's a shelter of any kind and they're asking for book donations, then look at your bookcase and then begin to kind of scale down, and books that you know you're never going to use again, you know you don't want, just been sitting there collecting dust them off, and then plant a seed somewhere with those books. Don't just throw them away. Give them to someone who can possibly use the books. All right. So thank you, everybody, for joining the Loving Yourself 5-day challenge. This was the first pop up challenge of the year. Usually, the pop up challenges are challenges that want to grab your attention right away, where you don't have a chance to think about whether or not you want to be a part of it, because it's a pop up challenge. You don't have 5 days to get ready. You get ready on that day, and then you just follow the challenge all the way through. So thank you for joining me for the last 5 days. God bless you. I pray that you move into that, well, before you move into the next month, that you finish this month out strong. So you still have a few hours left in the day before midnight, no matter what time zone that you're in, for you to just take a moment to sit down and reflect over what has happened the last 5 days, and take a look at what you need to do and what needs to take place in your life for you to begin to love yourself even more, or to love yourself again. And what action steps do you need to take to make sure that you are experiencing this in your life, so that when you move into the next month, you're moving into it with a healthier mindset, and with intention, on purpose, to love yourself more and to appreciate who you are right now, so that you, and if there's anything that needs to change, that you're open to that change, and that you're going to move into being even more valuable to yourself. And remember, I said that's not conceitedness, that's not being uh, conceited, or being arrogant, or snobbish, or anything like that. It's just an awareness that needs to take place, so that you can love yourself better, or love yourself more. Some people don't love themselves at all, and they struggle in life day to day. You don't need that type of struggle. So you need the struggle that says, I'm confident in who I am. I know who I am. I may not be the best that I want to be at this moment, but who I am right now, I love who that is. And if I'm not at that place where I'm loving who it is, I'm strong enough to say there's some things I need to change that will put me in position to love myself. And I'm open to that, and I'm committed to taking the next necessary steps to change my life, so that I can love who I am before I reach out to try to love other people. So thank you again, everybody. God bless you. Take care. Have an awesome kind of evening. Remember, don't cross over into the next month without making a decision that you want to love yourself more. God bless you. Take care.